And greetings YouTube gamers, welcome to another episode of Retro Raider. My name is Johnny Retro and welcome back to the channel. That is right guys, today we are starting a brand new series here on the channel. As you can see by the name, it is called Retro Games from Japan. And like the name says, this is going to be a series of game reviews exclusively for video games that never got a release outside of the land of the rising sun. So for the first episode, I'm going to bring you guys this game, this JRPG called Bahamut Lagoon. This is a game that I recently finished for the very first time, and I think that it is a very good game to kick off this brand new series here on the channel. And by the way guys, if you're new on the channel, feel free to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you won't miss a thing. Now let's start the review. Bahamut Lagoon. Well, what is this game all about? Bahamut Lagoon is a tactical turn-based RPG developed by Squaresoft, released for the Super Famicom on February 9, 1996. It was ported to the Wii Virtual Console in Japan on September of 2009, and on the Wii U Virtual Console also in Japan on February of 2014. And still to this day, it remains a Japanese exclusive. And in case you're wondering, is Bahamut Lagoon any way related to the Final Fantasy series? Well, not really, but kind of. Bahamut Lagoon was supposed to be released as a kind of a Final Fantasy spin-off, but it turned out to be a standalone game. The game's development staff actually included many key members from the Final Fantasy series. Final Fantasy created Hironobu Sakaguchi as the supervisor, Kazuchichi Nojima as director, and Matomu Toriyama as story event planner. Oh, and the Bahamut character from Bahamut Lagoon, well, although it is inspired on the Bahamut from Final Fantasy, technically it is a different character. And honestly, that's the only connection between Bahamut Lagoon and Final Fantasy. And not only this game is its own thing, but it's very peculiar, very original. And since we're talking about a role-playing game, well, this is the plot, the setting. Now, the story and characters of Bahamut Lagoon are not the most memorable ones, but we can't deny their originality, because if there's one thing that we need to understand about Bahamut Lagoon is that this game is very peculiar and kind of a unique game actually. The setting takes place in the world of Orlus, a world of flying continents called lagoons. A war began in Orlus when the kingdom of Kana was invaded by the Grand Belus Empire. This leads Captain Bayu, the game's protagonist and leader of the Dragon Squad, to fight and repel the invasion. But after the initial victory, the kingdom of Kana was eventually overrun. Now it's up to Bayu, Princess Yo-Yo, and the rest of the heroes to awake the legendary dragons and lead the campaigns against the Grand Belus Empire. Yeah, the plot is kind of vague and the names of the characters and places are also very weird, and that is one of the unique things about this game, is that although this is a very big, long game and it is an RPG, the central focus of the game is not the story. This is not a very story-driven game, and without a doubt what makes this game stands out is the gameplay. Bahamut Lagoon combines RPG turn-based mechanics with tactical squad-based combat. Outside of combat, we can explore our base ship, visit some local towns, explore the surroundings, talk to NPCs and vendors. However, it is very limited. You don't have a lot of towns or places to go to, nor a lot of extra characters, and actually there's no world map in this game. However, the core gameplay of the game occurs during battle, and that is when the fun begins in Bahamut Lagoon. In battle, we take turns on a 2D grid. Our squads are assembled into parties of 4, with a maximum of 6 parties. Each party has a specific role, however we can assemble them in which way we desire. We have casters, healers, warriors, knights, summoners, etc., and different combinations will affect the tactical behavior of the party as a whole. For example, you can have a very strong defensive party just filled with knights, or you can have a party just with casters more focused in magic. You can even have a combination of both. Aside from the turn-based close combat, we also have distant field attacks that consist in ranged element attacks like fire, ice, etc. Each attack has a different area of effect, same thing with healing spells, so we can attack and heal multiple targets with one single attack or action. So we do have a lot of variety and different flavors when it comes to combat in Bahamut Lagoon. But the coolest feature about this game is, without a doubt, the dragons. Each party has a dragon attached to it, and like characters, we can change dragons in each party also. Like each individual character, dragons have their own stats and experience points, however, they have a will of their own on the battlefield. That is one of the complaints that I have about this game, because it would be so much cooler if we could actually control the dragons. But I'm not complaining because I love dragons and hey, there's a bunch of them in Bahamut Lagoon. Dragons play a crucial part on the game, especially in combat, because your party will draw a lot of power from their dragons, so for example, if your dragon dies in battle, your party will lose a lot of its strength and features. So there's a lot of micromanagement in this game, and you really need to prepare your characters, your parties before battle. Now back to the dragons, because the dragons are the cool part of the game, but It is also the tricky part of this game. It's kinda tricky because you really need to attend and take care of them, and that will affect the whole mechanic of the game. You need to feed your dragons. Feed them with weapons, armor, items, etc. in order to increase their stats. Making your dragons stronger and combining different items while feeding them will cause them to evolve, and their evolutions will pretty much depend on their diet. Yes, they get bigger, they evolve, and there's a lot of different combinations. Later on in the game, you can even breed dragons. So in a way, I kinda relate this to Tamagotchi or Pokemon. However, this is not the same type of game by any means. But I'm not gonna lie, if you like Tamagotchi, if you like Pokemon, well, you have a little bit of that in Bahamut Lagoon. Now, this is a 2D 16-bit JRPG by Squaresoft. And if there's one thing that we know about these old school RPGs by Squaresoft, the old Squaresoft, is that they look amazing. And although I have some minor complaints about Bahamut Lagoon, the game looks beautiful. The graphics of Bahamut Lagoon are pretty polished 16-bit graphics. The sprites are sharp on the top view, and they do get bigger and more detailed while in turn-based mode. However, the environment really lacks depth from the backgrounds, and it has poor combat animations, especially the animations of the dragons, and that could really have changed the game into a more immersive experience. Yeah, across the whole game the dragons are pretty much static the whole time. Now let's go back to the Squaresoft name, because like the graphics, Squaresoft has always presented us with really good music. And the music in Bahamut Lagoon is pretty good. I think it suits the game really well, it does the job. However, I have to admit that unlike similar JRPGs from its time, you will not have memorable tracks stuck into your head for a very long time. But keep in mind guys that this is just my opinion, and these are minor complaints because the game actually did pretty good when it was released. Even though Bahamut Lagoon was released towards the very end of the Super Famicom lifespan, it got good reviews. It sold almost 500,000 copies during the first year of its release, and the years that follow I think that this game sold over 1 million, so it's very good. These are good numbers. Not only these are good numbers, but these are actually good news, because in Japan, still to this day, this is a very common and cheap game to get. For example, I got this copy last year, and to be fair, I think that I've paid more for the shipping than for the actual game. So please do yourselves a favor guys, if you guys want to grab an original copy of Bahamut Lagoon, don't overpay it. Still to this day, I think that this game remains as a hidden gem, but it is worth checking out, without a doubt. And about the language, well, if you guys don't speak Japanese, don't worry about that, because you have a lot of good fan translations of Bahamut Lagoon out there. Now, before we wrap up the video, is Bahamut Lagoon a game for everybody? I have to say that, me personally, I love the game, but it is not. It is not a game for everybody. First of all, the game is very, very slow-paced. It is also a very, very long game divided into 27 chapters. For a first run, we're talking about 30 to 35 hours of gameplay. If you like a big story, a big plot, a lot of character development, well, you will not find a lot of that in Bahamut Lagoon, because this is a tactical-driven game, and again, there's a lot of strategy involved, a lot of micromanagement. So if you don't like that, there's a good chance that you will not enjoy Bahamut Lagoon. However, if you guys enjoy tactical turn-based RPGs, well, this could be the game for you. Because again guys, and I really can't stress this enough, the fun in this game is during battle. It is very original, it is very versatile, there's a ton of different settings, you have side quest battles, and even though the Super Nintendo had an amazing library of RPGs in every region and genre, turn-based RPGs, action-based RPGs, etc., the truth is that outside of Japan, or aside from the ones on the Super Famicom, there were not a lot of tactical RPGs for the Super Nintendo here in the West. And we really can't complain with the amazing catalog that Squaresoft gave us back in the day, but even among some of the best games of its time, during the golden days of 16-bit RPGs, Bahamut Lagoon remains a very original and unique game. So without a doubt, for tactical JRPGs fans, this is a must-play. And this concludes the video. This was my review of Bahamut Lagoon. And please let me know about you guys. Let me know down below if you ever played Bahamut Lagoon, and what are your thoughts on this hidden gem from Japan. And please help me out. Also let me know down below, what did you guys think about this episode, and let me know if I should continue with the series. So please give me suggestions down below, suggestions of games for me to review here on the show, suggestions of retro video games that never got a release outside of Japan. So please let me know down below. As always guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to put a like on this video, please subscribe to the channel, and take care of yourselves, take care of the gaming community, and game a lot.